Josh Shigala, you heard him. Polly got hacked. Do you have to give back your Tesla now?
No, but the funny thing is about all these hacks. It's the headline's always hackers, like it's a group, like it's some ominous big group of like probably Russians or Chinese. That's always the case. It's never Americans, and then it's just some dude in his grandma's apartment, like one person always. That's like, oh, I read the contract properly. And this is the ethos thing of these smart contracts, right? It was always code is law, and well, basically, I found a loophole in the law, and so obviously it is a hack. The guy did return it after trying to launder some through through some, even I think it was just like 6 million or something, and then he couldn't get it through. But there is a really important distinction here between stable coins. Like, you can't just say stable coins, because there's a difference between Tether and these centralized stable coins and algorithmic stable coins. So Tether absolutely can just shut things off. And the problem is that after a while, especially USDC or anything, they'll run into the same problem that PayPal ran into. And this is regulatory overhead, where they need to start becoming police. They need to start becoming judge and executioner. And where do they start? Do they start at the 600 million? Do they start at 5 million? Do they start at 1 million? Do they start at $10? Where do you draw the line of when you're going to freeze coins? And now, what sort of police work are you going to do to require that to happen? Obviously, it's a no-brainer with the $600 million hack, but it starts becoming very iffy at the smaller amounts. And then, hey, I bought a bike on eBay, and the guy didn't deliver the bike, and I sent him the Tether. Oh, okay, well, what are you going to do? Or even weirder, hey, I sent someone some Tether on the black market for some weed, and you know what? So this is the problem with all of these centralized stablecoins, and this is why I absolutely believe that algorithmic stablecoins are the future. It's very, very useful for accounting purposes to have a stablecoin, because it's got all the wonderful stuff. But just like Martin said, rightly so, the attack vectors in DeFi are massive, are absolutely massive, and it's only going to get worse as they get trickier and trickier and crazier and crazier. But humans, we coming from the gold industry with the crypto mix, we've had 5,000, 3,000, somewhere in there, years of understanding physical security as human beings. And really, we've had like 40 years of digital security and 12 years in crypto security. It's really nothing. So there are going to be some rockets that explode on the way to the moon. We are going to lose some astronauts as we build stuff. It is a tragedy when it happens. Mt. Gox was the centralized exchange, and everyone went, ooh, let's build decentralized exchanges. And now we've also seen decentralized exchanges being hacked, or like bridges, and in this case, second layer solutions. So it is a really big experiment. The reason why there are such massive moonshots in this space is because it is a massive experiment. We are trying to find a fair price in some of these projects. What are they worth? Are they worth anything? If they're hackable, obviously they're not worth much. So as people become, and humans become better at securing the code and building better smart contracts, or less, with a less attack vectors, maybe the price will find its value by that stage. But yeah, highly, highly speculative space. If you haven't got the goals to, don't invest the farm. Don't invest the farm in this stuff. If you are going to invest the farm, maybe stick to Bitcoin because that's a surer bet than not financial advice, by the way.
Exit question. The price of Polygon actually went up after the hack. Proposed for altcoins, it's actually better to be hacked and get the PR. But for Bitcoin, being hacked would be disastrous. Martine, do you agree with this statement?
Yes, well, it's I this whole price bingo with all these altcoins. I don't follow them. As Josh said earlier, like Doge, they mentioned Doge in an article next to Ethereum, and Bitcoin price, and then sign off, not reading the next paragraph. Like so, yeah, price up, price down. Maybe the attention is good, and the fact that they fixed it, well, the hacker was so nice to send it back, but no, I wouldn't poke it with a stick. Sorry.
Wasim, you think they hacked themselves, got free PR, and then the price went up? The best of all worlds for Poly?
Obviously, I can't comment on your scurrilous accusations and allegations, Thomas. They sound very controversial, but what I can give you is some mild-mannered opinions that I've got, having not consulted any legal representatives. So I would say that one of the big differences in the kind of characterization, the properties of Bitcoin versus a lot of the other stuff, is that Bitcoin seems to be treated by the market and by wider stakeholders as some kind of relatively resilient commodity. Doesn't seem to be changing that much. Everything else seems to be very fast changing, kind of more like tech companies experiments, speculative experiments. And so it's so hard to understand the market, sort of the sentiments of the market, giving those two very different lenses. So yeah, I think any news is good news for any kind of non-Bitcoin project. Brings attention to this thing. I think, just speaking very quickly to Doge, because it doesn't deserve that much attention, you've got to remember that all of the web runs on advertising, and advertising is driven by clicks, which is an attention economy. So Doge is clickability. Doge is Elon Musk. It's memes. It's it brings eyeballs, and so but maybe Doge is also a funnel. Right, so people will hear about Doge from some boring billionaire tech bro, and then they might find something more interesting that's got some longer staying power. We'll also just say about Doge, it hasn't been updated very much recently, and so that is we talk about Bitcoin not changing much. Well, the Dogecoin is taking that to the next level, where they haven't patched loads of stuff that is just very bad, and so if the price of Doge keeps going up, then the attack vectors will start to get picked at. One very interesting thing that I guess it's been so long ago that everyone's forgotten is that Dogecoin is merge mined. It's not even its own hashing function anymore, because it kind of got smashed by Litecoin. And so basically one CPU cycle, one hash on Litecoin counts for a cycle on Dogecoin. And that merge mining economic security model relies on the price of Litecoin's network being more valuable than the price of Dogecoin's network. Well, that hasn't really been the case for the last few months. So at some point, somebody smart, or a bunch of smart people, are going to figure out how to kind of pull the fourth leg from under the stool of the Dogecoin meme house of cards. And just very quickly on the code as law point that Josh brought up earlier, I think code of law kind of ended in 2015 with Ethereum. Code of law continued on Ethereum Classic. You still see that kind of a little bit of that ethos in Ethereum, but I think now everything is much more let's move fast and break things. Let's try to accelerate away from our problems, and that's kind of what you see with Ethereum 2.0 and how fast everything's kind of moving towards that, despite nothing really seeming to be ready technologically.
Of course, the Dogecoin developers know the truth that if you don't edit your code, it becomes a collectible. The longer they fail to edit, the more collectible the code for Doge becomes. And of course, for Polygon, there's nothing wrong with being in a headline where it says Polygon hacked for $610 million, because the first question everyone has is, what is Polygon Network and how do they have $610 million? Josh Shigala, the World Crypto Network was hacked for $610 million. Same question. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the Trumpian way of news, right? Doesn't matter, good news, bad news. It's all branding, and yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that that doesn't matter what happens. I mean, more than $500 million hack. That's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal.
It's just like Johnny Carson. We could have put it down in an envelope and mailed it to ourselves. Altcoin will be hacked for $500 million, and we just pull it out and it'll be like, there it is. It's amazing.